Life is like a book whose first and last pages are missing. We do not know where from we have come. We do not know where shall we go. About 5,000 years back, Nachiketa in Kathopanishad put this question before Yam. There is this doubt, when a man dies, some say he lives on, yet others say that he doesn't. I wish to know for certain what the truth is. Who was I in my last birth, and who I would be in my next birth? This is from Jain Agam. You and I, Arjun, have lived many lives. I remember them all, but you do not remember. Rigved, the ancient most scripture in the world, very categorically said, when after death all the five elements dissolve among themselves, the Jivatma, individual soul, remains, and this Jivatma takes to itself a new body. Dr. N. Stevenson remarked, everyone outside the range of Orthodox Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and science, the last being a secular religion for many persons, believes in reincarnation. But counting of noses can never be recommended as a valid test to know the veracity of a concept or idea or doctrine. The requirement essentially is there any empirical proof, scientific data for or against? The story of reincarnation goes thousands of years back, but the history of its scientific study is very recent. The earliest case in which a semblance of collecting scientific data is found, I found a description of that case from Aurangzeb's time. In a book written in Persian, it was mentioned that a son of Ramdas, who was son-in-law of a village headman, Rawat Sukaram, started speaking about his past life. He was merely a child of 4 or 5 years. He recalled himself as Rawat Sukaram and said that he was murdered, and he showed some birthmarks below his ear and at his back. The news reached to Aurangzeb. He summoned the boy to his court, and he put certain questions to him, and as per this record, he was satisfied after investigations. This is a small girl of a village in Rajasthan. She is narrating me how she died in her past life. She said that she was cutting branches and leaves for cattle, and all of a sudden a branch broke down. She fell down, and she was struck by a pointed stone on her head. In this life again, she had that birthmark exactly at the same place. When I inquired further, I found really a girl named Soni died in this manner, and after few months of her death, she appeared in the dream of her mother's sister, Mosi, and said that I will be coming back as Soni in another village, Jharli. About a year ago, a girl was born in Jharli, and when the girl came to this village, she recalled and she recognized persons of her past life. This is a boy, Neera. I was told that this boy recalled his past life in a village, Shamgarh. And he is, as you see, his left hand was clubbed. He was born with a clubbed left hand. And this is a close-up showing you that this is not done in this life, but by birth. From his stature, bodily stature, I guess that this incident, if at all had happened, that he was murdered by some persons in Shamgarh, there must be some police record. I went to the related police station, sorted out files of 10 years. Then after, in one file I found Kajja Urf Kajor, killed by five persons, and 5 persons were implicated and 2 persons were sentenced to death. Then I tried to trace out the persons who had killed, because 14 years have elapsed after the incidents. I found one of them working in a factory. When I contacted him, he said, "Oh, it's too late now, let me go, I will tell you tomorrow." Next, for 3 or 4 days, he didn't turn up. When somebody convinced him that you cannot be charged for the same crime twice, he came to work in the factory, and then I interrogated him and found out from him how did they kill Kajja. He said that we had broken both his hands and legs, and put his body beneath a tree, and there he died. Now, from the police record, I got the exact date, 20th June 1970. So I went with that report to the related hospital, got out the post-mortem report, and I am not telling a story, so I would not say that in the post-mortem report the left hand was chopped off. No. But the report did say bone deep fracture, compound fracture, left mid forearm. Similarly, when I was investigating other cases, a lady told me that there is a tabar, a small child in my village, who bears birthmarks at many places on his body. When tracing that boy, I reached that village. I found the boy was 32 years old. Nobody had cared to report this to us, excepting that lady who heard of us investigating cases like this. Anyhow, we consulted the lady, 72 years old lady, who had helped in the delivery of this child. My wife talked to her, and she said that at the time of birth, he had many scratches, marks on his body. 2 marks remained even when he was 32 years old. As a child, whenever he used to see 2 particular persons going, he would be very angry, with red eyes and very much disturbed. He would go inside, bring a stick, and said, "I will kill them." And people asked why. He said that they killed me in my past life. They were Nimba and Hima. And the thing was true, that they really did murder a person named Suva. Most of the cases, we get the report of a person recalling past life, and then the family of that child contact the past family, and many informations have already conspired between those two families. And when we go, it is very difficult for us to know what exactly the child said initially and how much he gathered information from the other families. In very few cases, we have got the report, or we have got a record of what the child said before any person from child side, family side, met the another person whose life the child had been recalling. Swanlata is one of those rare cases where whatever she said was put down on a piece of paper by her father, and she had been talking about her past life. Once the family was traveling by a truck through a village, and they had stopped in the way to take tea. She said that, "Oh, you go with me to my house, you will get very good tea." Everybody was surprised. How a girl of 3 and 4 or 4 years talking about a house here. The place was near Katni. Well, they just overlooked whatever she said. But she started saying many things about Katni and her past life family. The father of this girl narrated this incident of her recalling a past life in Katni, giving several details about her house, other members of the family, and the manner in which she died, and some other names. He had given this paper to a parapsychologist. That parapsychologist himself went to Katni, found out the house of the description. She said there was a railway track in front of the house. The house was white, but the doors were black, and there was a girls' school at the back, and she had given certain names also. From these details, the parapsychologist traced out a family in Katni, and when he talked there, they wanted to meet this girl. One of the brothers, living brothers, went to her place, disguising himself as somebody else, and when the girl came before him, she immediately recognized him. He tried to dissuade, but she did not, and she recognized him correctly. Later on, the girl was taken to Katni all of her own. She was put in a jeep, and then they went there and recognized the house, many incidences, and people related to her past lives. I met her when she was about 35 years old. Her husband was commissioner, municipal commissioner. And I interrogated her with regard to all these incidences. And particularly, generally we find that children forget what they have been talking about their past lives. But she remembered many things. She said that I remember this many things because I've been contacted by many people again and again, and I've been recalling these things again and again to them. And she still had some faint memories with regard to her past life. One very peculiar incident connected with her is that she, at the age of 5 or 6, used to dance and sing songs in Bengali. She never learned Bengali, living in Madhya Pradesh. And when ultimately the song was recorded and searched out, it was found that it used to be the girls in Shanti used to recite a poem written by Tagore. I have the text of both the versions. The song as the girl sang, wordings of the song, and the exact wordings of Tagore songs. And they tally at least 80% correct, both of them. And she recalled another past life in Sylhet, where there she said that she died in a car accident. But unfortunately, she did not remember much about this second reincarnation, so nothing could be traced out with regard to that. If Swarnlata recalled 2 of her past lives, Lakshmi, this girl, recalled 6 of her past lives. In 2, she said she was a bird, Morni or Kambidi. And in 2 of her birth as human being, the details were very meager. We couldn't investigate further. But in 2 of her past life, she was a human being, and she gave many details, and we could verify them. My wife and me investigating her. This is the photograph of a Maharashtrian girl. As you see, perhaps you can detect some Maharashtrian dressing way. But the very next day, if you again go to her house, you may find the same sort of body features, facial features, and everything of the same girl, but now dressed in Bengali manner. If you ask her question in Maharashtrian, she would not be able to answer. She did not understand Maharashtrian. She used to sing Bengali songs, used to do Bengali devotional things, and in every manner she was a Bengali girl. The same girl, and as Bengali girl, she gave her name as Sharda. As Maharashtrian girl, her name was Uttara. And she recalled a life of a girl about 150 years back in Bengal, Bardwan. An investigator went there, find out some genealogical charts, etc., and could verify many details of her past life. On 11th December 1926, there was a girl born to one Mr. Rang Bahadur Mathur in Chirakhana, Delhi. Till 4 years of her age, she could not talk. She did not talk much. But all of a sudden, she started crying and saying, "Where's the photo of my Lord Krishna?" There used to be a small temple-like place in the house, and the photograph of Lord Krishna was missing. Then, crying, she narrated that she had been Chauban of Mathura in her past life. Her husband owned a cloth shop in front of Dwarkadish Mandir, and she gave out some details of her past life house. She insisted to be taken to Mathura, but nobody was interested in taking such a trouble of taking this small girl to Mathura. They thought she must be just fantasizing. When she kept on insisting, the mother went to some ojhas, Jharpur Karle, and the father took her to a doctor. When the doctor interrogated her, she narrated all those things which she had been saying. Plus, She said that I died after a difficult childbirth. How did she die after childbirth? Then she narrated, to this amazement of the doctor, that she had a cesarean operation. A small girl of 7 years. Then the doctor was also perturbed. Somehow, one day, a principal of a school, a relative, heard this thing, and he thought that let us find out whether whatever she is saying is correct or not. But the girl till now had not spoken out the name of her husband of past life. The uncle said, "You have not given us the name of your husband. How can we contact him?" Then the small girl came near to him and whispered the name of her husband as Pandit Kedarnath Chaube. Like a shy Hindu wife, she did not take the name of her husband at all. The uncle wrote a postcard addressed as Pandit Kedarnath Chaube in front of Dwarkadish Mandir, Mathura. And he wrote, "We have a girl, child, who narrates her past life as your wife, and she has given these details. If they are correct, kindly respond." Immediately came a response, and the husband, Kedarnath, wrote that substantially whatever the girl has said is correct, and please let my cousin meet her and talk to her. The cousin came to that small girl, Shanti Devi. She immediately recognized him. He put many questions. Most of the questions she correctly answered. Now, instead of writing back to Kedarnath to Mathura, this cousin Kanjimal himself went to Mathura and narrated the whole thing. The husband was perturbed. What to do? Somehow, one day, it was on 12th November 1935, along with his second wife, after the death of Lugdi, Shanti Devi has given the name of that woman as Lugdi. He had remarried along with the wife and the boy, the child, after whose delivery Shanti had expired. He came down to Delhi. Shanti was not at the house at that time. She was playing outside. When she entered the room, she immediately stopped at the door and very shyly came to her mother, and she told her, "Didn't I tell you he is fair in complexion, and he had a big mole near his ear, and he wears spectacles." All these things were true for Kedarnath also. Then she asked her mother to prepare aloo ka parantha and kashi fal ki sabji. She said these are his favorite food. And she brought lot of whatever toys she had for the boy and hugged him as having almost tears in her eyes. Kedarnath was still not convinced. Late in the night, when everybody was slept, he called the girl to his room. He wanted to put some questions to her which could convince him completely. When he was alone with the girl and wanted just to ask questions to her, She said, let me first put you a question. He was all ears. She told, do you remember what promise you made to me when I was at deathbed? Kedarnath was shocked. He recalled. The girl then said, who is this woman who is sleeping in the next room? Kedarnath had promised her that he would never remarry after death. Still, what question Kedarnath had in his mind was, Lugdi, before her death, a few months before her death, had acute arthritis. She could not walk even. She used to creep. Kedarnath asked her that with these sort of physical conditions, how did you conceive a child? A girl of 8 or 9 years related to him the exact sexual position in which they used to indulge in. Now, who on earth would not be convinced? How could this girl, small girl, know this? Next day morning, he declared that I am completely convinced. The news spread like a fire. Now today, through many papers, magazines, TV, all this, we have been hearing all these cases very much. But in 1934, 35, 36, these were rare phenomena. Now, then persons belonging to some other religions than Hinduism started saying that this may be a propaganda by Hindus for their religion, to promote their religion. The news reached to Mahatma Gandhi. He recalled Shanti Devi to his ashram and questioned her. I met Shanti Devi in 1987. In that interview, Shanti Devi narrated to me how bones of Mahatma Gandhi were hurting her when she was sitting in his lap. Well, coming back to that story, after listening to Shanti's story, Gandhi did a very good thing. He suggested constitute a committee of eminent persons and let that committee take this child to Mathura and observe very critically and objectively whatever this girl, in whatever manner she behaves, recognizes or recalls things. A committee of 15 eminent persons having MPs, press club president, some other advocates, etc., were constituted, and one day, it was 14th November 1935, they took this small girl with them to Mathura. They observed each and every behavior. As soon as they landed and the girl was on the platform, seeing an elderly man, she touched his feet. The gentleman was very much surprised. What is this? Then she told some member of the committee that he is my jait, elder brother of her husband. And really, he was elder brother of Kedarnath. Then she was put in a tonga of a Muslim man and asked that tonga wala to take her to whatever place she wants to go. alone with that Muslim Tongawala, she guided that Tongawala to a place. And if somebody of you might have been to Mathura, the lanes are very integrated, very narrow, and it's very difficult for a person to remember just after going 2 or 3 times to that place. But through those lanes, she led the Tongawala to a house. She entered the house. She recognized her father-in-law and past life son of these people. Then the committee people asked her, where is the well? She had been describing in Delhi that she used to take bath in a well who was there in the courtyard of her house, but there was no well. Then Kedarnath shifted a stone from a corner, and under the corner there was a well which was covered. Then the girl wanted to go to the room where she had put 150 rupees. She went to the room. Again, the Kedarnath accepted that after her death, he had dug up a place in the corner where she had put 150 rupees. But by this time, so many critics and persons, believers and non-believers, have gathered. Somebody asked her, okay, tell me, what does the word Jajru mean? She immediately said, it is the toilet. Again, somebody was more smart. He said, what does the word Katora means? Yes, you are very correct. We all think that Katora is pyala, some sort of. She said, it is parantha. Only in the Chaube community of Mathura, they used to call bowl, katora, as parantha. And the little girl immediately said. Then she went to the house of her own parents. By this time, huge crowd gathered. In that crowd, she immediately went in the lap of an old lady and started weeping, calling her as mother. And the mother also started weeping. The committee people wrote that we were very much disturbed. We thought whether we have done a good thing in bringing this girl here or having this sort of scene. She recognized the father, brother, sister, sister-in-laws, and many people. Many years later, a report was published in a newspaper which I read. A person from England, Christian, he had come to India to deliver some lectures. He wrote that I have been talking to groups of people, and once I was talking to young ladies in a hospital. There I just out of curiosity asked, do you believe in reincarnation? Nobody was prepared to give any answer, but then a girl of about 23, 24 stood up from the crowd. She put her sari back correctly and very slowly said that I am a Christian. My religion does not permit me to believe in reincarnation. But there is one incident which I was told by my mother which makes me think again about this concept. My mother said that when she was a small child, she used to play she was in that crowd when Shanti Devi was taken to Mathura. And Shanti Devi had recognized her by her nickname. A friend of past life, this small girl has recognizing for first time when she met her, she recognized and addressed her as friend. This woman said, this girl said that my mother told me this and there is no reason why should she have concocted this thing. This I read quite late after several years of the incidents. But this all happened there. I should tell you how did I go to Mathura or in Delhi to meet Shanti Devi and her past life relatives in 1987 when she was almost 51, 52, 61, 62 years old, almost on her deathbed. This is the photograph just 4 days before her death. In 1985, 23rd December 1985, Illustrated Weekly of India carried a special issue, Birth, Death and Birth. And the main cover article was titled, Is Reincarnation Possible? The article started with the narration of Shanti Devi case. And concluding this case, he wrote in the end, but where is this 60-year-old Shanti Devi is now? Whether she is still alive or dead or nowhere. Well, it disturbed me because it is well if you say death or alive, but if you don't know where, what did he mean? When coincidentally in just after in February 86, this was in December 85 that the Illustrated Weekly carried this article. In February 86, Dr. Stevenson invited me to Delhi to investigate certain cases with me. I told him that this is what is written about Shanti Devi. He said, do you want to meet her? I said, certainly I would like to meet her if she is still alive. Mathura RB, we searched out the directory, telephone directory. 14 entries were there. But ultimately we found one Mathura RB corresponding to Shanti Devi. We went there, I interviewed her on my tape recorder. Next year, in 1987, I have got a video camera with me, so I wanted to have her video also. That's why in even 1987, though it was very old case, I went to her, I did all my interview on my video. Fortunately, in 87, the video which was taken in 87, that was used by a Germany documentary company when they telecast it in on Discovery Channel in India. So that is also, no one on earth has got this proof, herself telling me the entire story. After recording that, I went to Mathura and searched out the brother, the sister, sister-in-law, and all those old people. Some were 87, 82, and asked them what happened, recall what happened. This is the well, the place where she said that there was a well. This is it. That is the corner of the room where she had put some money. This is the brother of Lubdi Devi, 82 years old. He had tears in his eyes when he recalled how Shanti had come to Mathura And how did she recognize all the relatives? Sister, sister-in-law. This is a friend of Kedarnath who had given me this information. You see, I did not meet Kedarnath because he was no more. This friend told me that the question, in answer to that question, how was he convinced that particular question. I have narrated to you some cases in the beginning related having birthmarks or birth defects related to past life. We have some cases in which we call as experimental birthmark. By this we mean that a mark is placed on the body of a dead person, and it is seen whether anyone is born with the mark again. When I was investigating a case, I was narrated about this gentleman. He is about 50 years at that time. That he was born, and he showed, I had a photograph of that, on his stomach rounded black marks. And his younger brother, his elder brother I should say, had died at the age of 2.5, and at that time his mother had put burning oil on his stomach, and he had those marks. When I was talking about him and showed this slide to people, Rotary Club people in Kathmandu, a person from the audience stood up and showed me this big mark here. He said that his mother had given birth to 6 children prior to him. When he was born, she had put a black mark here, and he bore this mark still. He was one of the biggest industrialists of Nepal, Holas Chand Kulecha. Well, Mukul is a Hindu boy who recalled being a Muslim in his past life. He was born without a foreskin on his penis. Could describe the process of circumcision at the age of 3. I, along with Dr. Stevenson, met this boy. Dr. Stevenson had photographed him, and that photograph has been published along with his research. I have a photograph of this boy with circumcised penis. Could sit in exact namaz posture. Now what do we make out of all this? Because you see, this is only a tip of an iceberg. I have got files of more than 500 children who claim to have recalled a past life. But some of the cases I have put before you. But what do we make out of it? Are they all fraud? Yes, some of them are. 1 or 2% cases we do get which are very obviously fraud. I have got reports from 9 children calling to be Mahatma Gandhi in their past life. 6 girls recalling Indira Gandhi. A boy recalled the life of the father of the principal, where his father was serving as peon. It was found that that peon has taken 50 rupees, had borrowed 50 rupees from the principal. So this is not difficult in cases when it is fraud. Another thing, why should a boy or the parents make a fraud case? There should be a motive behind this. Certainly, in most of the cases, rather, they have to suffer a lot. Then, self-deception. Maybe in some cases, child might have listened some things and might be fantasizing. Then, something must be read heard or seen on TV or cinema, and the child might have recalled them as his own. Genetic memories can also be there. Extrasensory perception. A boy in Turkey recalled his life as a rich man and gave many details, correct details. But the critic found out that the boy whose life is recalled and said that I was a rich man, died not as a rich man because he had suffered a big loss in his business. So if the child was saying correctly from his own memory, he should have said, I was a rich man. But he got this idea of his richness might have got the idea from the minds of other people surrounding him. And that's why he said. But in most of the cases, just as I have narrated to you, the birthmark, birth defects, etc. Sometimes possession, a spirit possessing the body of somebody else for some time, but so many details and things are not there. Now, first thing is that there is such a remarkable uniformity. Children from almost all over the world, when they recall their past life, they recall at the age of 3 or 4, or at the most 7, and after that they recall for some days, some weeks, some months. Then profuse recalls and recognitions. I've got a case in which a girl recalled 126 correct recollections and recognitions. Now, knowledge about intimate and secret events. Very interesting thing I found in Rajasthan. Whenever a news reached to some persons taking rebirth, his family people would immediately go to him to ask him where did he put his money. And sometimes they were rewarded too. Unusual behavior and habits. A Brahmin girl used to lick sugar from her palm like this. And she had recalled the life of another girl. Then when she was taken to that family, the people found that family, all the children in that family also used to take sugar like this. It was a sweeper's family. Similarly, we found a boy, 4 years old, playing on tabla as an expert. Never learned tabla in this life at all. Then many children have got childhood phobia. There was a student of mine, she had drowned. She took birth again. Right from childhood, she had a strong fear about going near to river or lakes or like things. Unusual cravings during pregnancy. Ladies might be knowing, when a lady gets pregnant, during pregnancy, in medical terms it is known as pica, P-I-C-A. They develop unusual cravings to eat something or listen something like that. We also find, in accordance with the past life of the person who is born after this pregnancy. Untaught skill, as I told you about tabla playing. Sometimes we found, for example, that Sharda talking in Bengali, she never learned. We found Lakshmi talking in Gujarati, where she had never gone. Then there are many cases in which they had already predicted that I will be going to that place and be reborn there. And a child was born there and he recalled the past life of the person. The concept of reincarnation has very many explanatory values also. So, what do you think? I don't want to impose my view. My attitude is scientific. I have presented before you the many important cases which I come across and investigated during my past 45 years of investigations. In the end, I have to put two questions. We say that mankind is progressing. My question is, then why every day we have to build up big and big jails, bigger and bigger hospitals, bigger and bigger mental asylums? Is this progress? Mankind had never democratic set up a government in the world as it has today. Education was not spread so much any time in the history of mankind as it is today. Economically, we are so well throughout the world, which we had never been seen that economic prosperity ever in the history of mankind. But man has never been unhappy as is today, never in the history of this time. Why so? Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I have put this whole presentation before you. This is the value of understanding the basic question of life, whether from dust we shall go back to dust, or we have a life to live. We have something in our personality which does not die with physical body, which remains. If from dust to dust we have come, from dust to we shall go, then do whatever you want. Eat, drink, and be merry. This is what is being done today. The entire crisis in this present world is the crisis of morality. The faith in this law of karma, reincarnation, is no more there. The entire mankind, humanity, is so much dazzled with the success of the physical sciences that they take it for granted that reincarnation is a superstition of fools. My challenge is to say reincarnation is a superstition is itself a superstition, because I have given so many proofs. Let the other party give me one proof that reincarnation is impossible. I have given so many proofs. So we have to think about it again, and perhaps one day it may be scientifically established and a dent will come in the moral view of humanity. Thank you very much.